Hello YouTube, this is DontRTFM with YouTube.com and welcome to your first how-to tutorial. And in this tutorial we will be going over how to make a simple Jquery chat box. In this chat box you will just chat with yourself and it will automatically update without any PHP needed at all. This is just purely JavaScript. It is very simple, so do not think that this is advanced at all. It's very simple. In the next tutorial, in our next how-to tutorial, we will be going over an intermediate chat box where you can save your chat data in a database, call it with Ajax, and do all of this without having to reload the page. So to give a quick example of how this works, we're going to type hello, my name is Tony. And we're going to post it, and we have hello, my name is Tony. So you want to create this. Let's get started. The first thing I want you to do is create a normal HTML page, and inside of this HTML page I want you to get your title. I want you to link a style sheet. This is not mandatory. If you want, go ahead and load this Google font that I took. It's just a specific font that I wanted, and I want you to load the latest Jquery. The first thing we're going to do is style this step by step. If you want to, go ahead and skip forward, but we are going to style this, and I have a blank page over here. So we're going to be doing HTML, we're going to be doing CSS and JavaScript in this video tutorial. So the first thing we need to do is go into our body and make h1 tags, and inside we'll have what do we have over here? We have let's chat. So we'll have let's chat, and then we'll have a div. Yeah, we'll have a div ID equal to content. In this div. Okay, and inside this div we'll have our paragraph, and our paragraph will be here's our chat data, I guess. Okay, and then we're going to have another div. So we'll put another one, div, and this div will be called message. And inside of this div we will have a text area. So let's create a text area, and let's give it rows of 2, I think. I did. Oops. Let's give it rows of... Oh, I don't have numlock on. My bad. Okay, let's give it rows of 2 and columns of 34. Inside the text area, we'll have leave a comment. Okay, then I think the last thing we need is a button. So we'll go button post. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Let's refresh our page, and we have let's chat, here's our chat data, and leave a comment. Very good. So let's start by styling, and this is going to be a bit of a long styling, so like I said before, if you want to skip it, go ahead. Don't have any anything against you guys skipping. So before we start doing anything, we're going to delete all of this, and we're going to go get the CSS reset to reset our CSS. So we're going to go up here, go into open a new browser, CSS reset by Eric, and we're just going to copy this little reset so that everything is nice and pretty. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to start with is going to be our body. And our body is going to have a background color. So let's have our background. Sorry guys. As let's go F2, F2, F2. Okay, and then let's move on to our. Actually, let's see how that looks. See if that looks similar, about the same. Yeah. Okay. Cool. The next thing we're gonna do is go down to our content, or just make a new content actually. So we're gonna go to content. Still have caps on content. Okay, and we're gonna first mess with the border. So we'll go border, 1 pixel, solid, and we'll give it a color of A9 F5 A9. I hope that I typed that correctly. Let's go ahead and check that. Very good. Okay. Let's do background of white. Let's give this, let's center this. Yeah, let's center this. Okay, so let's center it. Let's give it a width of like 300. And yeah, I believe that's what I put. Width and height of both 300. I believe that's what I did. Okay, now that we set... Yes, now that we set our content as 300, what if we get full? Well, it would stretch, right? Well, we don't want that, so let's give it an overflow of auto. So let's give it an overflow auto. And, let's see what we have. So, I don't really like the edges, so let's go ahead and do a new CSS3 border radius. And let's give a border radius of 3 pixels. About 3 pixels should be fine. I did not spell that right. Okay, that will work. Let me close these old ones. We don't need these right now. Okay, we have our content pretty much how I want it. So let's start with the actual message that we'll be getting. Let's start styling our message. So let's do, I guess we can do content paragraph, and let's give it a padding. I don't like it so close to it. And let's see how it looks. Let's get better. Let's also give it a margin. Okay, let's give it a background color so that people can be able to tell that it's a comment. And you'll see what I mean. So I think this is E, if I remember. It may not be that. Let's check that. Yeah, okay. So now you can tell it's kind of like a comment there. If you were to see this on a site, you would think it's a comment because of the background. And let's also give it a border just to make it look a little better. So let's do 1 pixel solid, and then let's do BD. Okay, and then last but not least, let's come up here and let's also give it a border radius, but let's give it a border radius of 4. So let's save that, and let's refresh this. Yeah, border radius of 4 pixels looks very nice. Now, as you can see, this would be, you know, the chat data recopying itself, you know, It would look very nice. Now let's go and start with our header, which we probably should have started with, but who cares, you know. Okay, let's give it a color first. Let's give it 01DF3A. Okay, now this is where the font family comes in. This, like I said, you don't have to do unless you want to, but I picked this font out on Google, so I decided to go ahead and use it. And let's do cursive. Okay, let's run up here. Cool. Okay, let's, oh, actually, this is a comma. Okay. So, we have our font family. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Margin. Top. This will actually put everything else down, which is definitely what we want. And let's text align it. Let's give it center so it'll match up. This should push this down. Yeah, perfect. Now let's give it a margin so it's not just sitting there on the top. So let's give it a no, I mean, let's give it some padding. Padding. Let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Let's give it a font size of 1 pixels. Okay, this should look pretty damn good. Let's see. Perfect. Now we just need to style our comment box and our post button. So let's do that. And let's I think it was message. Was it message? Yes, message. Okay, message. I think all we have to do here, if I remember correctly, I remember I just wrote this, so I should be able to remember most of this stuff correctly. I think it was. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a minute. My brother came in to see what I was doing. So let's give it a margin of the top by about. Okay, that's about right. Sorry for all these distractions. Let's go to the next thing I want to. Let's see how this looks first. Yeah, okay. Let's start styling the text area now. So we'll do text area and we'll say, we'll give it a border of none first. Padding, I think it was about it was about 6 pixels around. Let's get rid of text decoration. None. Actually, I messed this up. I'm pretty sure this was actually message button. Yes, actually was message button. And then we need to do our message first. So we need to do our message div. So let's do message. I think we did. Okay, we'll do margin top 10 pixels. We'll center this too. So let's center this margin. Go up here and let's give it a width of about 300 pixels. Let's give it a padding of 3. Okay. Hope I did this correctly. I think so. See how this looks. Very good. Okay, so let's go back to the message text area. We have text decoration none. Let's give it a border. So let's go back. Actually, instead of writing that, let's go back up here, and let's give it a border radius of the. Yeah, let's use the same. About 4 pixels. Let's give it a background color. It's 2EFE64 about there, and let's test that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Let's give the text about a color white, and now we're gonna use a new CSS3, like they're called box shadow. Let's have let's have 0, 1 pix, 0, white. Okay, you're probably not going to be able to see this, but it gives a little bit of a box shadow. Okay. And I think, let's see, do we have our button? I think the last thing we need is our button. So let's refresh this. Okay. Actually, I just checked my other CSS and there is a mistake. This is actually the button. Okay. And up here I'm going to just throw some code in that I just took from the other CSS page. So let's look at this. Let me make a quick. There, that's what we wanted. And let's look at our other page to make sure it's about the same. And it is about the same. We need to go up here and get rid of this page. Now let's reopen our chat 2. Let's add an excitement mark because this is exciting. Okay, now that we have our CSS, let's go ahead and write our JavaScript. Now, the first thing we're going to do with our JavaScript is simply have our script tags. So let's do script type equals /JavaScript. And let's end it with a script. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, we definitely need to put this in the head first, though. So let's move this back to the head before we do anything. Okay. Now, the first thing we want to do is open our, our document.ready function. So we'll have document.ready. Jeez, this always confuses me, but it's like this. Okay. Okay, so we have this, and let's get rid of that. That should not be there. Okay, now after we have our document.ready function, the first thing we want to see is for this simple chatting ways, the first thing we want to see is if they click this post button. So actually, let's go back to our style real quick and add something. Okay, good. So what we want to do is see if they've actually clicked the button. So let's select the button by going select button. You know what? That's not going to work. Let's wrap this in quotes. Okay, and then click function. Okay, and just to test, we're going to alert. Ooh. Hello. Okay. Hello. So as you can see, we get hello. So what we're doing basically is we're checking to see if they've clicked this function, if they've clicked the button down here, and if they did, we're alerting hello into the browser. The next thing we're going to do is take the value of the text area. So what we're going to do is basically go ahead and copy this, replace this with text area, and we want the value, so we'll take the val, and we're going to set a variable. So we'll say message is equal to the value of the text area. And just to show you how this works, we'll alert message. Let's refresh our page, and we get message, which we should not have got. Let's see what we get. Variable. Ah, that was dumb. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And as you can see, we get leave a comment because our values leave a comment. Let's change it to Tony, and we get Tony. So now that we have this stored, we're simply going to replace or add HTML to the content div. Simple as that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say old is equal to, actually we'll just copy this. Content, so let's make sure we select the ID and the value, and let's initialize this as a variable. Okay, so we have our variable old, and what we're doing is we're taking everything that was already inside of content and we're saving that so that we'll be able to see all of the chats that we have. So that's what we're doing, and now we want to make a new message. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take content, and we're simply going to go content.html, and the first thing we're going to do is load the old. Okay, then we simply want to load message. Now I do want to show you what we get first. So what we get is, okay, so let's post Tony, and as you see, we get nothing but Tony. That means I messed up somewhere. So let's go see what I did. Okay, there's two things wrong here. First, we don't want to get the value, we want to get the HTML. So let's get the HTML. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. As you can see, it does not look like this. This is because we're not in paragraph tags, and the style is over the paragraph, not over the content. So to fix this, we're simply going to concatenate paragraph tags. Okay, save it, and let's see. As you can see, we just have leave a comment, and it's just over and over, and it's just really ugly. So let's refresh the page and comment, welcome to your new chat box. Now, this has been just a very, very simple chat box that only you can use, and it even resets after you reload the page. And what we're going to do is, in our next tutorial, we're going to make a chat box similar, except for it will keep all of this data each time the page reloads, so you can continue and actually have a real chat box amongst friends. We're also going to have a login function so you can keep track of who is using your chat box. This has been DontRTFM with your first how-to. I hope to see you guys later. Bye.